guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here at Jaguar Land Rover St. Pete, and guess what? I have one of the last. I know we talked about this before. One of the last of these vehicles right here. This is it. This is a 2024 Jaguar F-Type 75R. But before we get into this special edition of an iconic nameplate, let's talk about what's going on here. Jaguar. A lot of people forget that once upon a time, they were pumping out some of the most powerful, luxurious vehicles ever, and really was laying down the framework for some amazing performance. Now, at racetracks around the world, decades ago, Jaguar was a force to be reckoned with. You go back to the Jaguar D-Type that won the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Of course, I remember the IMSA GTP era of the XJR 12-cylinder prototype Jags that went on to win Le Mans. But now, today, things have gotten a little flat. And one of the even worse pieces of news is that the F-Type is dead after model year 2024. But they wanted to celebrate 75 years of performance excellence, and that is what this 75R is all about. So what I want to find out is, if you're looking for a luxury performance sports car, do you go Mercedes AMG GT? Do you go Porsche 911 Carrera S? Or do you go Jaguar F-Type 75R? Let's go ahead, let's dive in and see if it's really worth the price tag. Right off the bat, the shape. It truly is a classy, timeless design that I think 10 years from now will still capture people's attention. Now, at the front of the business, I think a lot of people felt like they went backwards with the headlight design. It used to look more like a cat's eye, but now it's sort of just like a thin piece of headlight housing. You do get full LED headlights, daytime running lamps, and of course we have the J-style daytime running lamp and your turn signals. Down below we have full functionality, not only in the corner vent, but also with your corner air curtain. Some gloss black pops nicely with this sort of like grayish white. It's like a Grigio white color. And it's interesting because depending on the amount of light, it looks more gray than white. But right now in the sun, it definitely takes on a little bit of a whitish grayish color. You get this massive front splitter that is color matched on this 75R. Normally this would just be gloss black. And then as we come across that low slung nose, I like the way on the 75R, everything is blacked out. So they actually blacked out the screaming Jag, your flat black on your grille. Even the way they did the R badge, it's been blacked out with those colors. Now, you do still get the F-Type name that is stamped on the front of the vehicle right there. And like I said, this is a direct descendant of the mighty Jaguar E-Type, which, believe it or not, Enzo Ferrari himself said the E-Type back in the 1960s when it came out was the most beautiful car he had ever seen. Crazy coming from Enzo. Love the way they have that nice large front splitter and that it's color matched. But even if we're not on the fence together about the headlights, you can't deny that distinctive open mouth grille design that Jaguar is known for, and really just the aggressiveness of the front end. Now, as we rise up, you got your bulge, baby. And that's something that when you compare this to the AMG GT, you compare this to a Porsche 911, some of the styling cues just don't carry over into those vehicles like you see on this one. I do like the functional heat extractors, and I like the way they painted the whole housing of the heat extractor. And then as we come around the bend, guess what? You are gonna have distinctive wheels for this 75R. So machine aluminum V-spoke design, gloss black. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this wheel? You're looking at a 20-inch wheel. Tire up front is 255 on the width with a 35 series sidewall. What's interesting is that the Jaguars have never came with Brembo calipers. They have this really beefed up floating caliper with the Jaguar script. Jaguar says, you know what? It performs the way it's supposed to perform. Let me know in the comment section if you'd like to see some Brembos, especially once we get to the price point. But you have these Pirelli P0 summer radials And of course, you have all-wheel drive. Power going to the front, power going out back, and we got a supercharged V8 still underneath the hood. Now, swinging it around, I want Steven to kind of show off our venting on the side fender. We do have our leaping Jag, and down below, this is the only badge really for this special edition. Kind of sad looking badge, kind of sad placement for a badge, so I am gonna zonk that. I wish they would have done something a little bit more. But coming back up, you do have your power folding mirrors. They are folded in, painted black with your turn signals. This does have a actual glass roof right here, and I like the way it's all been painted. All been painted. So you have a nice solid glass roof. It doesn't open up. It's not a sunroof, but you do have your glass roof flush mounted on the door handles. And the biggest thing paint job wise is you actually have a painted roundial. So if you're wondering what the hell is that big circle, are you supposed to make a smiley face with it? No. This is where, especially back in the good old days of racing when they had the roundials, that's where you put your racing number. What a missed opportunity to put 75 here in big, bold black numbers, since it's a 75 anniversary. Let me know how you feel about that. Everybody's on the fence here at the dealership. Some like it, some don't like it. What I do love though is the flush mounted door handles. And then I'm gonna have Steven kind of swing around this way and show off how that Coke bottle style, that flared rear fender, so sexy. I just love running my hand all over these cars. They're just so damn good looking. And then of course out back, we're gonna get a little bit more rubber to meet the road. We got 305s because this is rear wheel drive base, but we do have all wheel drive. But it's nice to have a little bit more rubber since it's predominantly rear wheel drive and it sends power to the front when needed, of course. But still great looking style to the wheels. 20 inches all around the corner, all around four corners, but it's 255 up front, 305 out back. You do have a limited slip diff. And then swinging around back, I just love the classy sleekness of the design. You got the leaping Jaguar with the blacked out badging. This is active aero, so this raises and lowers depending on speed. Same thing with the headlights. They did a great job on the taillights. There's our R badge that's been blacked out. And then of course, the rear diffuser that looks like it came right off a race car. You got your quad tip staggered exhaust, stainless steel polished tips. It does have an active valve, so you could make it purr like a kitty cat, or you can make it roar like a Jaguar that's about to rip your freaking head off. And this rear diffuser is simply sexy. That's all I could say about that. And it's functional. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see the power of this Jag. All right, guys, we got that classic reverse clamshell opening hood. I'm gonna get out of the way so Steven could show off that supercharged V8. You could actually see the wires going in for our adaptive suspension. Love the way they stiffen up the front of the vehicle, tying it in with the firewall. But what do we have underneath that plastic cover? That is a 5-liter supercharged V8 pumping out 575 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque. It's made it to an 8-speed automatic, 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds, quarter mile in 11.6 at 122 miles per hour. The vehicle weighs 4,134 pounds. Top speed is 186 miles an hour. And MPGs, you're looking at 16 in the city, 24 on the highway. My one big zonk is, why have an engine cover? You got that supercharger up top. Why not polish that or maybe powder coat it? This plastic cover just does not match with what the goodness is underneath the hood. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire this thing up and hear it roar. All right, guys, we are inside this Jaguar F-Type 75R. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I've been wanting one of these for years. I remember my grandfather had a Jaguar E-Type. He used to take me to car shows. And when it came out with the F-Type, I fell in love immediately, and it's sad to see that this is the last year. But how much is it? Very good question. Remember, this is the bespoke edition 75R, so it's one of just 150 that they're producing. That's it. That's all. But if you want to know, I hope you're sitting down. MSRP is $142,495. Let's see what you get for the cash. To the door panels. Absolutely love the bespoke edition two-tone. You have black leather up top, and then that dark navy blue leather in the middle. Really gives it a nice classy pop. We got the Meridian premium sound system. You do have 3 memory seat settings and all your seat controls high up in that gloss black. And I am going to have to zonk the gloss black. That's a little too much gloss black, especially where you're going to be putting your fingers to open up the door. Door pocket is large enough for 2 scones. And don't get a soft scone, because a soft scone is just a muffin. Get a real deal meaty scone. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, the stitching, the leather, feels fantastic in here. You slide on in, you got your AC vents that actually go up and down when you fire up the vehicle. We got our special badging for our bespoke edition. And then you have, of course, your 10.25-inch infotainment system screen, the navigation. It's that usual infotainment system screen. Nothing has changed with that for quite some time. You do have the ability to pull up a G meter, stopwatch, and of course, you can go into your different modes, which are nice. Even show the graph for braking. There's me braking right now, and then there's me going on throttle. Kind of cool to showcase that. Now, backup cameras, they do a good job. I mean, the resolution is pretty freaking fantastic, and we have a forward-facing camera with the 360. Put it back into park. You got your dual climate control, heated seats and ventilated seats. Love the toggle switches. You got an oh crap handle that's made out of leather for your passenger. This is going to control the ZF 8-speed automatic. Start stop button. Like the way that they didn't put gloss black right in this area. Just around the shifter, but nothing too crazy. Here's your toggle switch for your different modes. This is how you make the exhaust nice and loud. Ooh, I could feel it. And then, of course, you got underneath this cover your 2 cup holders, your standard Jaguar key fob. There's your buttons on the back. There's that wonderful blue leather. Open it up. Get rid of this because you got USB-A's. You got a 12 volt, and you could put easily, I would say, 3 Rolexes in there, and they're not going to get scratched. Here is, I want Steven to kind of zoom in and show you that bespoke one of 150. Really nicely done. And then the seats. Blue leather with the leaping jag, 1-piece bags, great bolstering, full electric assist for the passenger, full electric assist for the driver. And then, like I promised, you have that glass roof. It's not an opening sunroof, but at least you can see what the weather's like by opening it up. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind this leather steering wheel in this special Jag. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have 3 memory settings. If you have 2 friends that you trust to drive your F-Type, which you're crazy, I wouldn't let anybody drive my F-Type, but if you do, they could have their own seating positions. You do have your nice aluminum special edition sill plate that illuminates LED lighting. Pedal box is decent. Nice aluminum brake pedal and throttle. The thing that gets a zonk is the dead pedal. It's got carpet. You're gonna rip that up. That's stupid. I do think it's nice that there is all-weather floor mats. That's worth an extra 5 horsepower. Seats are comfortable. I'm 6 feet tall, not even close to the headliner. And then you have the steering wheel. The 2 different types of leather, flat black on all the switchgear, heated steering wheel, paddles on the back of the wheel to go up and down that 8-speed automatic. And it is a power tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then you have that 12.3-inch digital display that when you go into your different modes like dynamic, it changes a little bit. So nice to see that. The one thing I'm a little confused on, there's no head-up display. For 142 Gs, that seems insane to me. But why don't we go ahead? We don't have a back seat, so don't have to worry about that. Let's get into the cargo area because I want to go on throttle in this F-Type. All right, guys, time to get in the cargo area. It's wonderful because even though this vehicle just has 2 seats, it does have a ton of cargo space for the type of vehicle it is. You're looking at 8 cubic feet of space. Love the way it's nice and low. You got your nooks for your track day Twinkies. And underneath the back here, you got a little bit of a storage area. Now there isn't a spare, surprise, surprise, but you do get a can of flat fix and an electric air compressor. But that's one of the things with these types of vehicles, no spare, but you do have a power lifting rear hatch area. But why don't we go ahead? This thing looks so good. I could literally pull up a lawn chair and just stare at it all day. But what I want to do is I want to take you for an on-throttle spin. So why don't we jump in and see what this Jag has. All right, guys, we're inside this 2024 Jaguar F-Type 75R, this special one of just 150 bespoke editions. And if you're ready, I'm ready. We're gonna manually shift with the paddles. On throttle, here we go. Wow. So it's incredible that deep V8 grunt sound that you're getting. Unfortunately, there's pretty much no supercharger whine. I mean, once you get higher in the revs above 6,000, you could hear something happening, but it's not like whine off of a supercharger that you would get on a Hellcat or something like that. Utilizing the paddles, they're metal, so they actually feel good to the touch. And whether you're going up the gears or down the gears, it shifts very, very quickly. And that's one of the things, is that ZF produces an amazing gearbox, and you have all-wheel drive. On throttle, here we go. Yeah! When you're in dynamic mode, which is sport mode, the steering is very quick. The car is very stable. I mean, for not having all these extra appendages added to it with wings and dive planes and everything else, but that's what helps it keep its sexy shape, is not having all that stuff tacked on. Steering is, like I said, it's very quick, it's very communicative, and you really do feel planted, which is nice. And that, I know you're probably like, well, duh, of course you feel planted, you're in an all-wheel drive car. Not always do you feel planted, and I really feel in control in this thing. Nothing pumped in artificial. It's all real deal V8 supercharged sound. Are you ready again? On throttle, here we go. Nice. On the brakes. Smooth downshift. You got that rear wheel steer that helps quicken up your turn in and really keeps you planted in the corner. I mean, you can really feel that rear wheel steer kick in, and that's one of the things, you know, you look at the price point, you add rear wheel steer on a Porsche 911, it's not inexpensive. So it's nice to be able to have all of that right here, right now. Surprisingly, visibility out the front is fantastic. You see a little bit of the bulge, a little bit of the hood. Out back, looks great. You could bring up your maps on your digital gauge cluster, and you have the tachometer where it should be, smack dab in the center. The only thing I would really want is a head-up display, especially at $142,000. And I wouldn't mind a little bit of supercharger whine. But it's really fascinating how this car builds its power. Of course, with it being a V8 5-liter, and that supercharger comes in nice and low through the rev range, and it pulls all the way through to that 7,500 RPM red line. And the great news is, this is a daily driver. If you want to, you could daily drive this with no issues. The one cool thing about taking it to like a Cars and Coffee event or something like that would be, you just don't see many of them. And that's surprising for how long that they have been built, the F-Type, in its different iterations, different generations. But definitely loving the cockpit of this thing. It is a true sports car, 2 seats, all the materials. The leather is fantastic in here. Sound deadening material is great. And I don't know, like I said, it just gives you a very unique driving experience compared to a 911 or compared to AMG GT. But I'm hoping that this has been a good, quick, overall review of what this Jag is bringing for its 75 years of celebration. We're gonna get back to Jaguar Land Rover St. Pete and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another rip-roaring kind of day here at Jaguar Land Rover St. Pete. Definitely want to thank Miro and the rest of the team getting us access to this very special, very rare 2024 E-Type. When I say E-Type, I'm thinking back to the 60s. Whoa, I just had an LSD trip. No, just kidding. I wasn't around the 60s, and I definitely did not do LSD. But F-Type, this 75R Special Edition. Let me know in the comments section what your thoughts are about the price, and if you'd rather have an AMG GT or a 911 over this kitty cat. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raise Rise family. We gotta thank Steven, working hard no matter what the conditions are. And today, he's pleading the fifth. So thank you, Steven, for taking into consideration our US Constitution and what that gives you when it comes to the amendments. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.